he wanted a company car. And at that particular moment, we did not have the budget for a company car. But he said to me, "Look, I get on Mercedes where I am at the moment, so part of the package I need a car." At that level, it was quite normal. And the only way I could do it was to give him my car. And at the time, I had a Mercedes Sports, and I really wanted to recruit him. So I said, "No, I think you're absolutely right, and we'll organise a car for you. It'll be available on Monday." And I remember going home Monday night, and my wife said, "Danny, where's the car?" I came by bus. So, I think, it's relative to what you have to do in order to attract the right people. And sometimes in small businesses, there is no prescriptive structure that says I give 17% or 35%. And in that particular case, that's what I had to do to get him on board, and I thought it was worth it. Looking back, it was a cheap deal for me. Any other questions? Yes. Two ladies.
Hi,
Ladies are on a roll this morning, guys.
Hi, my name is Katie Robertson. I read your book and I loved it. It was brilliant.
Thank you.
Really.
So you were the person who
Very
was
inspiring. That's right.
I found her.
I've got a small ceramics business which I'm working on my own. I also work full time, so I'm kind of trying to get everything sorted out. I've been running it for about 2 years now. I've got some very good international clients. I've probably got about 5 quite major orders for Christmas. But it's the whole kind of funding side of things. I need probably about £3,000 or £4,000, so just a huge amount to actually get this business going. But it's very difficult actually finding out where to start.
Have you been to the Princess Trust?
I'm a bit too old for that, unfortunately.
Really? Do they have an age limit?
I think it's 30, yes. Yes.
You look like 17.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
But I try.
I did do myself.
I think there are. I met a venture capital firm yesterday, which is a Midlands-based venture capital firm, which is partly government funded, and who do seed capital, and they will invest. And normally seed capital is quite risky. I'm trying to think of the name of the firm. I can't remember the name of the firm. But it's Midlands-based venture capital, and they have government funding for startup businesses. So I think there are actually firms out there. There are not many others who do seed capital, and there's angel funding groups, where there are groups, I think like Fairley Partners or Angel Networks, who will do that level of funding. So, I think everybody finds a challenge on how do you raise money. It's probably the most common question. All I can tell you is it is not easy, but it is out there. And it's the same passion that you have to have as you have in your business. You just have to be relentless in looking, and talking to people. The only other point I would say, certainly for me, in terms of starting the business, is one of the key things, if I look back and say, what was the most significant factor that I've learned both from myself and people who I've backed as to how they've been successful and why they've been successful, is they all had a genuine need. And I think it's a really important lesson for me, is the definition or differential between the word want and need. Because everybody wants, I want a new car, I want a new suit, but you know what, I could live without it. When you say I need to be successful, you have to ask yourself why. So let me give you a really tiny example. When I invested in Sammy French in Dragon's Den, and I went to the thing that everybody's taking the piss out of me, which is the dog treadmill. You may ask, why have you invested in a dog treadmill? Anyway, but I did, and I made that decision. And when I met with Sammy afterwards, and I'm trying to understand from her, what is it that was driving Sammy? She was working as a waitress during the day, and she was online in the evening selling dog treadmills. And when we invested in her, she sold 23 machines that year. And I sat her down to try and understand, what is it about business that really inspires you, Sammy? Why are you doing this? And Sammy's a single parent, has 3 kids, lives in a council flat, and she has 3 kids, and one of those kids, Elizabeth, really bright, and Sammy wanted to send her to private school, and she couldn't afford it. It cost her £15,000 a year. But to me, that was a genuine need. There was a reason for why she would sacrifice time, she would sacrifice money, she would work 7 days a week. And there is always a common denominator when you meet people who have a genuine need that drives them. When I meet people who are doing it for no reason other than I want to make more money, or I want successful. For some reason, they never quite made it. But every time I meet somebody who has something inside them, which is a genuine reason, it could be family, it could be state, it could be whatever, but the need has to be there. And I think, you know, all of you should reflect and ask yourself that question: why am I doing this? And if it's woolly, I'll give you really simple advice. You probably won't make it, because business is too difficult. But if you're going to make it, you're going to have to come across, you know, barrier after barrier. And what gives you the energy and the belief to do that? And that's why that need is important. When we worked with Sammy last year, which was our first year, 2008, 2009, we sold 493 machines, and 23 the year before. And we buy those treadmills at £345. We sell them for £1,700. This year we're going to sell just over 800, and the target was 1,000, so we're not quite there yet. But she will make something like £250,000. Is it because I think she's a brilliant businesswoman? Not really. Is it because I think it's an amazing product? Not really. I think it's what's driving her, because she had a real focus, and within 8 months of investing in her, you know, the first thing we did was put her into private school, which gave Sammy that satisfaction and the belief that it was worth doing. So, you know, to me, that concept of why, I think, is absolutely important. I think in my case, it was because I'd let my father down. I should have gone into family business. I didn't. I fell out with him. There was something inside me that was so determined to prove to him that he was wrong, that I could do this on my own. One more question. Let me go right to the back. Yes, very attractive lady. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Ami Fatholi, and the company that I'm starting is called Community Productions. It's an events management and artist management company. And the question that I have is about how to do your plan and say how much revenue you're going to get if you haven't actually started. It asks questions, the bank asks questions like turnover. How do you know what your turnover is when you haven't actually started it?
I think you need to use what we call projections. So you take a projection of what do you think you can do and what is realistic. So you have to be able to explain to somebody, whether it's a bank or investor, how. So let's say if it's event management, so you're going to say, for the sake of argument, I'm going to do 2 events a month, and a typical event is going to generate me £12,000, and the cost of that event is going to be £8,000, and therefore my margin is £4,000, and I think I will do, you know, 8 or 10 of those a year. I'll generate £60,000. It is projections, and they are assumptions. The key to an assumption is the integrity and credibility of that assumption. What can you use to show me how realistic that assumption is? So when businesses start off, they all work in the same format, which is fundamentally based on assumption and projections. Do we have more time?
Yeah, we've got time for one more question.
Time for one more question. I think we need a guy now, because I think I'm famous. Okay.
Hi there, good morning. Thanks for coming. I just want to ask, what is the biggest failure for you in entrepreneurship life, and how did you manage to overcome it? That's the first question. The second one is, would you be interested to invest in outside? And also, would you be interested to be as a mentor for outside investment management company?
Okay, let me
Thank
answer
you.
just. I'll go with question A rather than B. Question A, what is the biggest failure? My biggest failure was I invested, I think about a year ago, in a sandwich shop called Benji. That sandwich once upon a time? That was me. No, I was the one who lost the money. No. Okay, so what happened? I was approached by KPMG, who said, we've got this great business available for sale. Benji's, it's got 120 retail outlets